Will my hard work pay off? This is a question that I have read in many different forms and ways on the internet. And what I think it's actually behind that question is another question which means, why do some people seemingly achieve a lot of success in whatever way you want to define this without doing the hard work? So why do I have to work really, really hard to achieve what I want? First thing we have to do is to first define success. Because if you work hard, you probably want to work towards something. The easy answer, of course, is just money. Money, fame, or any other goal-oriented metric you might be set. You can say whatever. Let's just say money, for example, as one of the metrics. And the next thing would be, how do we define hard work? For me, I would say it's just putting in effort. So, okay, how many hours or how much time do I have to spend to achieve my goal? That would be one metric. But another metric would also be like, what is my mental load that I need to have? It's not just simply I'm putting in X hours and get X money out of it, but how much do I need to be invested mentally to achieve the thing that I want? Basically, what we say is, we have a goal that we quantify in some way, let's say money, and now we have to spend a lot of time in hours to achieve what we want. So the more effort I have to put in, the harder I work. So now, will this result in my desired outcome? Yes, I think so. I do believe if you put in more effort, you will, in general, on average, get a better result than otherwise. I'm very convinced of this because I have experienced this a lot in my own life. There was rarely a time where I get a lot for doing nothing. It can happen, of course, you can always get lucky for some way, but in general, I believe if you really put in effort into something, you will usually end up in a better position than you were before. You might not really get exactly what you want, right? Some things are just very difficult to achieve in any way, and some things are physically impossible. For example, if you would say, oh, I want to swim on the moon, this is not going to happen. Maybe in 1,000 years, but right now this will not happen. So there's, of course, certain restrictions within, like, how would we say, common sense. Now, the other question is, why do some people achieve a lot without putting a lot of effort? Some people still achieve tremendous success without putting in a lot of effort, or just being awful people, or like a lot of negative things you would associate with it. The short answer here is that you don't see the full picture. You have no idea how hard they work. This is one thing. But let's assume, okay, we can really quantify the effort and we know, no, they really did not put in a lot of hours or a lot of thought and it just happened. Okay, the most direct example would be winning the lottery. So this is just pure luck, right? You write down a number, you get picked, you get all the money. Boom. Okay. Yes, this can happen. Of course. Do you know what's the odds of lottery? I don't know, but I know it's 0.0000000. So many freaking zeros. You don't care. This is just illogical to say, oh yeah. So many people achieve success without hard work. No, that's not true. Like, nobody wins the freaking lottery. That's why it's a lottery. Just basically pay one company free taxes. So no, okay. But what are other examples? Maybe you have people who study with you or work with you, and then they seem to do less work than you, at least the way you can see it, but they do better. So what could be a reason for this? Then again, like, you don't see the whole picture. Yes, there are things that actually increase your chances to have any success, let's say monetarily. If you have already money, it's more easy to get more money. You just have a benefit, right? Or if you're more intelligent, then you're more freaking intelligent. You can do things faster, better, learn faster. So this is also an advantage. Or you have a very good network. You know a lot of rich people. You know famous people. Your parents are well connected. You are born in a country with a lot of opportunity. These are all just advantages where you somehow still have influence, but in some cases also you have zero influence. It looks like they have less work, but oftentimes there is more has happened behind the curtains before they were in the position. So they either had some unfair advantages, and yes, those advantages are also unfair, but they're still there. In most cases, again, those people still have to do work. They still have to do some work. And I'm not discounting luck, but luck is always dependent on the circumstance. So there are certain places where you can put yourself into, so you increase your chances. Now, I said I believe hard work really pays off, and now let me tell you why. From my personal life, for a long time, I also felt like the world owes you something. And this is really bad mindset. Like, because you are the victim. You want to be the one who just gets the stuff for free. And a lot of things in my life just didn't feel right. The moment I started to really put in more effort in the things in my life, is see it health, education, work, whatever it might be, I always ended up with a better outcome than before. Not all the time exactly what I wanted. The payoff actually comes a lot from the struggle you put into it. Because if you have to struggle to achieve something, you will grow. This is where you grow. This is really how I felt the transformation in my life. There's also another interesting effect called the IKEA effect, which plays into this, which is basically if you buy furniture from IKEA and you build it yourself, right? You put them together, you feel better about that stupid fucking chair because you put in effort to build the chair. So even if you don't get the chair, so to speak, in the end, what you will get is the journey you had to get there, and you will have won other things than your goal along the way. I promise this will always happen. There's a lot of research actually that goes into it that looked at this. There's also a very famous one for the argument of hard work, which is the 10,000 hour the 10,000 hour study, which famously says that you have to do something for 10,000 hours until you master it. And they have shown this, like most people, until they become really good at something, they just have to put in a lot of time. Languages are the best example. If you ever try to learn a language, you know the only way you learn it is by just practicing more and more and more and more. The more you practice, the better you get at it. That's how it is. And also, if you look at professional gamers, every pro player on the highest level, they put in so much hours. They have 8,000 hours, 9,000 hours, 10,000 hours just in a Steam account. And beyond that, they're training every day. So yes, there you can really see a clear effort. Also in sports, not just esports, but normal sports the same. So if you have put in a lot of hours, you will see more results, better results. And something that always really motivates me to keep going is also a very interesting experiment they did with pots. So basically they gave two groups of people the same task. They said you have to just create clay pots. And one group had the task to always create the best pot they could. And they could take as much time they needed to do that, but it just should focus on creating the best possible pot. And the other group had the task to just produce as many pots as possible. And then after the study, they looked at the two groups and they tried to find the most beautiful pot of all the pots combined. And the most beautiful pots all came from the group who just produce as many pots as possible. Just the practice of doing the thing, of doing the pot, made them much, much better at it. If you struggle and you believe like, oh, will it ever pay off? Yes, it will. And why does it not pay off now? It's because you just need to hone your skill more. That doesn't mean you have to work yourself to death. I think hustle culture is really bad. That doesn't make any sense. You just should not work for the sake of work. Sometimes you need this. If you're naturally a very lazy person or you're just doing nothing, sometimes you need that push to just do it and keep doing it. But if you're already somewhat established and you really want to achieve a goal that you have and you're not seeing the result you have, you should increase the skill in whatever you want to do. And the best way to do it is just do more of it. And the last thing about this is really about consistency. So hard work is just also really about being consistent. And if you're consistent with something, you keep doing it, you try to improve over time, I promise you will see results in all areas of your life. The only important thing is that you do it for yourself and not focus from something outside. If this pressure is coming from an external source, it will just start to make you sick. So as long as it's really for yourself, even you put in a lot of work and you will not achieve the thing you want, since you were doing it for your own growth and for yourself, you will not lose anyway, because you did not waste the time. You used the time to become more disciplined, more consistent, and you learned some skill, which will also help you in the future. So yes, I just wanted to talk about this. Thanks very much for watching. Peace!